Well, hey y'all, welcome to Tuesday Leadership Tips with Lita. I am excited and ready for our time together. Let's come on in. We got an exciting continuation from last week's emotional intelligence. I hope you're ready because we are going from being aware to aligned. Again, welcome on YouTube, welcome on IG, welcome on TikTok. Welcome to Tuesday Leadership Tips, aka TLT with Lita. I'm excited to be here today. Let's go. So, today's leadership tip is this: going from aware to aligned. So, leaders, now that you are aware emotionally, you know your triggers, you know the things that you should work on. Now that you are aware, let's get aligned. Give me just a moment, y'all. A whole bunch of stuff is happening. People texting, calling. Okay, we're back. Okay, I had to do that on the other screen as well. Again, welcome to TLT with Lita. Today's leadership tip is this: now that you're aware, let's get aligned. Now that we, as the game changing leaders, are aware, let's get aligned. Let's go from awareness to alignment. Let's turn this emotional intelligence that we had conversation about last week into everyday leadership practice. Let's do it. Last time we were together, we talked about what emotional intelligence is. And now we're answering the real question. The real question is this: what does it actually look like to apply emotional intelligence every day? Every day that we're at work, listen, it works in your home, in your family, it works in the grocery store, it works in the parking lot. But what does it actually look like? Let's answer that question today. That's what we want to do. So, because knowing your emotions and knowing the emotions that we have, that's one thing. But leading through them is a different thing. It's something else. And this particular conversation that we're having today, what I'd like to do is help us apply emotional intelligence in real time. This is important because it's usually when we need it in real time when we really need to apply it. So let's learn how to lead through the tension and not just talk about it. Not just be in the break room or in the boardroom and talking about it and complaining about it, but let's lead through this tension that we're seeing, that we are experiencing. Let's lead through that. Let's turn our awareness into consistent leadership behavior every day. Once we start practicing this thing every day, it will become a part of us. And it won't just be a notion. It won't just be something we learn, something that we learn. You know, how many times I could just think back how many different training sessions and informational meetings that I have sat in, and it was just information. Until you make it practical in your everyday life, it's just information. So you can know your triggers and still let them lead you. Let's be honest today. Y'all know I like to say, be honest with you. We can know every trigger that we have, and we can still let those triggers lead us. We can still do it. We can understand emotional intelligence and still react under pressure. So let's get to this place where we go from just having the information, where we go from just being aware to actually applying this and taking action in the things that we have learned and the things that we want to make our leadership impact better. So today, we're not just talking about awareness. We're talking about alignment. Alignment is key. So let me ask you this question. Have you ever known better, but didn't do better in the moment? I'll raise both my hands. I have, on many occasions, known better, but didn't do better in the moment. And so that's what we want to work through today. We don't want to be leaders who know better and don't do better in the moment when we need it the most. So as you're thinking about this in your head, what or where does your emotional intelligence break down under pressure? Where does your emotional intelligence break down under pressure? Is it because something happened that you didn't expect? Just think about it. Where does it happen? Where does it actually break down under pressure? And then I want us to, as we're thinking about when it breaks down, I was thinking about this myself, like when it breaks down. And usually when it breaks down, it's because it's in the moment that we need to actually apply this thing. So we're going to call it out today. We're going to call it out where we struggle. When we struggle, it's usually we know we should pause, but we react anyway. We may know that we should listen, but we interrupt anyway. We can know that we should stay calm, but act a fool anyway or escalate it anyway. Let's just call it out. This is sometimes what happens when we don't apply it in the moment. We have these emotional intelligence breakdowns. And emotional intelligence, y'all, it doesn't fail us. It's our decision to apply it that does. If we use it, it'll work. It only fails when we don't develop the discipline to apply it in the moment that we need it most. So if you think about, as you are thinking about the breakdown, any breakdown that you may have had, whether it is pausing, listening, or staying calm, if you have these breakdowns, we have to learn how to in the moment breathe, in the moment pause, in the moment hear the person out, and then if you don't do anything else, stay calm. Stay calm. So some of the examples of the most common in the moment leadership breakdowns are like in our tone. Sometimes we may feel like we're not reacting, but our tone is saying something different. It could be in the impatience where we're saying, come on, I don't have time. Or we could become defensive about what's being shared with us. Or we could just shut down and just end it and be like, look, let's end this for today. So when we have these things that happen, these in the moment breakdowns, we have to learn how to align our reactions with our leadership. Align our reactions with our leadership means that we don't eliminate our emotions. I want to be clear about that. We don't act like we don't feel. We don't fake it till we make it. We don't eliminate our emotions, we manage them. And when we can manage them, we can utilize this principle of the pause. This pause principle means before you respond, pause. Before you respond, breathe. Before you respond, think. Because your first reaction, ladies and gentlemen, is emotional. It's emotional. Your second response will be the leadership. So use the pause principle. Y'all that can take notes, write it down. The pause principle. Pause, breathe, think. Remember, your second response is leadership. Your first response is emotional, and that's what you want to manage. The second thing that you want to do is reframe. Reframe and shift. So instead of asking, why are they doing this? Or why are you saying this? Or what's the deal? Ask, what might they be experiencing? Because sometimes people are experiencing things that we don't understand because we're unaware. But perspective changes responses. If you look at it as, I need to find out what this person is experiencing, what my team is experiencing, then your perspective will change from trying to prove that they are wrong, their feelings are wrong, what they're saying is wrong. You're changing perspective to say, you know what? Let me hear them out. Let me breathe. Let me make sure I take this pause and think before I respond. So reframe. Reframe whatever your first initial question is, or your first initial response would be to the team, to the individual, to the subordinate, to the fellow partner or fellow leader. Reframe it. And when you start reframing things, you'll stop jumping to conclusions and making assumptions. Remember, we talked last time about get all the information, but ask the right questions. Reframe it so that it's not pointing a finger or accusative, but inquisitive. So as we navigate through this, we got to navigate through tension sometimes. Sometimes it is appropriate and it's necessary to lead through tension. And so the real leadership happens in uncomfortable moments. When everything is going well, it doesn't take much for a leader to have to do. But when it starts getting uncomfortable, that's when the real leadership kicks in. And when we are emotionally intelligent leaders, we don't avoid tension. We navigate it. We don't shut down, y'all. We stay present and we navigate through whatever the tension is, whatever the issue is. We don't attack. We don't attack. We communicate clearly. And when we can navigate through tension, stay present, and communicate clearly, we will more smoothly than not, through moments of tension, through moments of disagreements, through moments of chaos, even. Because you don't prove your leadership in easy conversations, y'all. You prove it in hard ones. When those difficult conversations come up, that's when you prove the type of leader you are. Pressure, chaos, tension, that's going to test what kind of leader you really are. So we'll learn as leaders how to give that feedback without damaging trust. Because once you have done something or said something, if you will, to lose a person's trust, it's difficult to get it back. Not saying that it's impossible, it just takes more work. And it's easier for you to give the feedback without damaging trust the first time. So you maintain trust, and then you navigate the circumstances. We will learn how to address conflict without escalating it. When the atmosphere, the energy is high and there's conflict, that doesn't mean you go up and take it up a notch, y'all. Don't take it up a notch. We have to make sure we address conflict without escalating it. And when you come in with with that calm energy, you're gonna change the room. You're gonna change the whole thing simply because you've learned to be emotionally intelligent enough to apply to situations and to circumstances ways that address conflict without escalating it. You want to hold the standard. I'm not telling anybody to lower your standard. Don't lower your standard as the leader. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying hold the standards without losing connection. I have so many examples of people that just lost me. I am one of those people that if I commit to do something, I commit to do that. But I've had also situations where connection was lost because of the things I'm telling you about today, because they reacted, they didn't they didn't think, they didn't pause, and they didn't make sure that they responded after they considered all the information. So hold the standards, don't lose the connection. That's something that's difficult to get back as well, if you get it back. So here are some daily emotionally intelligent habits that can transform your leadership. It transformed mine. I'm sure it'll transform yours as well. Because small habits can equal big transformation. Sometimes we can have these huge situations, but if we make a small adjustment, we change to do something a little bit differently, we'll see transformation, not just in the lives of those on the team, but also in your leadership. You'll see that transformation. So again, check your tone, not just what you say, but how you say it. Because sometimes you can say something and the words may not be offensive, but how you said it is very offensive. So check your tone. Here I am again saying something we talked about last week. Check your tone, check your tone, check your tone. Ask before assuming. Don't assume anything. Ask questions. Get clarity. So that way you know how to make an informed response and not a reactive one. Your curiosity is always going to be greater than your conclusions. Because if you're asking questions, you're getting the real answers instead of drawing your own conclusion that may be wrong altogether. Reflect daily. Reflect. If you don't do that self-reflection, how do you expect your team to do that as well? As emotionally intelligent leaders, we don't require things of those who we're leading to do that we don't do ourselves. So reflect. What did you handle well today? At the end of the day, just do a short reflection. What did I handle well today? I do that a lot. Like I want to know that did I do well with that? How was the response when I did that? What could I improve? So do that self-reflection daily. Just at the end of the day, I'm not telling anybody to spend an hour away from your family or away from your evening or whatever you do, but just take about 10, 15 minutes and just reflect. And every day you will find that you will get better and better because not only are you aware, but you're getting aligned. And when you discover that there are some things that you need to improve, repair them quickly. Don't keep doing the same thing expecting different results. Y'all know what they call that. I'm not going to say it. Don't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. When you get it wrong, fix it fast. I said, when you get it wrong, fix it fast. Because as emotionally intelligent leaders, we don't pretend to be perfect. I tell y'all all the time, progress is better than perfect. We don't pretend to be perfect. We learn to recover well. When we miss it, when we reflect and find out it's something we need to improve, we don't pretend that we're perfect. We don't walk back into the office like a peacock and act like we've done it all and got it all together. No, what we do is we recover well. So if that means we need to revisit a conversation, if we need to revisit, the person that there was a breakdown with or the team, if we need to revisit, we revisit. We recover well. We don't try to be perfect or pretend to be perfect because the truth is none of us are. So let's activate some things this week. It's only Tuesday, y'all. Got the rest of the week to activate something. The one moment where you will pause instead of react, activate that this week. Where you would normally react or emotionally kind of get out of pocket, that moment, pause instead of reacting. Activate that this week. Another one you can do is one conversation. One conversation that you'll have either with a team member, with a subordinate, with a partner, with a colleague, a coworker. One conversation. One conversation I want you to lead with empathy, not with superiority. Lead it with empathy, not with superiority. One conversation. Remember, we're maintaining connection here. We're maintaining connection with the people that we lead, the people that we work alongside. We're maintaining connection. It's not about who's superior to the other one. And then another one that you could do, and this is the last one I'm going to give you today, is one situation where you will repair quickly if you need to. Because I'm not saying everybody needs to, but if there is a situation that you know you need to repair it quickly, do that this week. Do that this week. And then, as I always say, hashtag lead with Lita. You can hashtag emotional intelligence if you want, but hashtag lead with Lita when you do it. And so, this one moment that you're going to pause instead of react, I want you to celebrate. Because the more you bring to mind that which you've activated, the more you will activate that which you've learned in your mind. So keep celebrating. Every time you do something better, every time you activate something new, keep doing it. Keep it going. Lead that conversation with empathy. Repair quickly when we know it's something we need to improve or something we need to revisit. Do it quickly. Because listen, emotional intelligence is not about just what you know. It's not about us getting in a room and regurgitating what it is. It's about how we apply it in real time. It's not about what we know. It's how we show up, y'all. It's how we show up. And when we can show up emotionally intelligent leaders, it doesn't matter what happens in the moment. We know how to respond. We know how to respond. So remember that. We're going to think, we're going to pause, we're going to think, and then we're going to respond appropriately. And this whole emotional intelligence is it's not built in theory. It's built in moments. I don't want anyone to think that overnight it's all going to happen, but moment by moment, apply it. Where you need to fix it, moment by moment, fix it. No condemnation, no guilt, but accountability. As leaders, we got to be accountable. We got to be accountable to ourselves in our awareness. And then we need to be accountable to the people that we lead and how we apply emotional intelligence. All right, y'all. So, by way of announcements, um, April's TLT with Lita, I said it's normally the second and fourth Tuesdays. April is one of those months where I won't be available the first or the second Tuesday. So April's TLT with Lita is going to be the third and the fourth Tuesdays of April, which would be, let me check the calendar. It will be the 21st and the 28th of April. So TLT with Lita for April is going to be the third and fourth Tuesdays, April 21st and April 28th. So I look forward to seeing you all next month and continuing what we are building here. We're building game changers. And I want you all to share this with another leader. I always ask that just share it with somebody who needs this conversation. You can share it on from my IG page. You can share it from my YouTube channel. You can share it there, but share it with someone who needs this conversation because we are getting better, we're growing stronger, and we're changing the game together as leaders. All right, y'all. Make sure we don't have any comments or questions. If you have them, quickly put it in the chat and I will answer them as best I know. Let's see. All right, y'all. Remember, every moment gives us a chance as leaders to lead better. Every moment. So take no moments for granted. All right, y'all. Until next time, TLT with Lita is out.